Hey! This is actually round 2 of recording this morning. I was getting into it, I was feeling good, talking away, and then I may have accidentally let slip some words that I shouldn't have, and I just want to make sure that, if anyone is watching it and either they're sensitive to that stuff or their parents walk in, I don't want them to be like, oh, you can't watch those drawing videos anymore because he said that word. That would just be silly. Even though I disagree with the entire concept of bad words, not many people seem to find the logical viewpoint on cussing. Anyway, I was originally saying in my first attempt that I'm just doing some warm-up sketches here because I was going to draw some stuff that will end up being prints for my hopeful entry into Artist Alley at NDK 2017 here in Denver. But I never do warm-up sketches, and then I start drawing, and then it's just terrible, and I don't understand, and I get upset. But most artists do warm-up sketches just to kind of loosen up. You're going to draw a line, and it needs to be nice and beautiful, and you're like really slow, and my hand will be shaking, and I get frustrated because I can't calm down and draw a straight line or a smooth line. And I think my biggest thing other than that is my lack of creativity is especially bad in the beginning of a drawing session, so I'm hoping that doing some warm-ups will just help out in general. This is if Wolverine was more of a creature rather than a dude, I guess. That's what it looks like, at least. Yeah, that's what he's saying. I haven't made a video in a while. I don't know, I've been busy, and my drawing lately has been so bad. I just felt so uncomfortable drawing anymore. I have felt so uncomfortable drawing now, or I haven't. Oh geez, I don't know. I hate when people use anymore incorrectly. It really bothers me, and I just did it, and now I'm disappointed in myself. I don't feel comfortable drawing anymore. There we go. How's that? You thought this was going to be a drawing video, and it's a grammar lesson. I don't know, even though I always draw female anime characters, the most fun thing for me to draw, without doubt, is just side view male characters in more of a comic book style, American comic book. Not sure why. I've never really drawn much in that style, and when I try to do like any other view, straight on or 3/4 or anything, or any female characters, it's just awful. I'm really bad at it. I haven't studied it at all, and I'm not good enough as an artist to just kind of wing it and just work out. But for some reason, drawing the side view like this is so easy for me. I mean, not that I'm amazing at it or anything, but it's just so much easier. It's so much less stressful. I always end up liking the way everything looks. I don't know if I feel good about that decision just now. Yeah, you know, I just think it looks cooler like this. Like the side view in this style just looks radical. But I'm not very good at, heck, I'm actually not very good at a side view in an anime style either, male or female, which is weird. There's a few drawings I've done that I like the side view of, but I can't seem to do it again. I don't know what he is now, like a Spawn Wolverine Beast mashup. Beast being the character Beast, not just a beast. Or it could be Beast, whatever. I don't know. I think it helps. I feel so much less pressure, you know, doing something like this. You know, because I know it's just a sketch. I know it's not like, you know, the artistic identity that is me as an artist now, where it's always anime style. And I mean, branching out is good, but you know, I want my style to be a certain style so that people come to my art to see certain things. You know, so I have that exclusive davvworlds-ness of drawing style that people would come to see, but I think that helps me feel comfortable in drawing something like this because it doesn't have to look any certain way in my mind. You know? Yo no, señor. But I don't even know if this actually looks good to anyone. It looks good to me, but you know, when I look at drawings of like cool shapes and creatures that I used to do as a kid, my brother used to draw this. What was it? It was like a very simple creature design. I don't actually remember the official shape of it. It was super simple. This is not a good representation of it because I don't remember. It was kind of like a weird fish looking creature, but it was like, you know, stylized a bit to be cool. And at some point in my past, recently enough, I feel like I saw one and I just thought it looked so silly. But as a kid, I thought it looked so radical, so awesome. You know, it had like the cool eye shape going on. You know, it just kind of had that overall, like, I don't know, yeah, zooming, yeah. But I guess in the end it was still just a child's drawing. Oh geez, I don't know what I'm doing here. Yeah, I'll just not do that. I think another thing though is it's nice, you know, if you can find something that you actually enjoy drawing because the end result is more or less, you know, what you were hoping for, like every time, you know, because like I'd say my forte these days is anime girls, sure, but you know, even though that's all I draw, see, this is what I'm talking about. This is where I need warm up. This is such a scribbly little scribble scrabble, and I didn't mean to do that. But like these side view guys, they look good every time I do it. You know, I don't have to plan it out. I don't think. I just do the head. Sometimes I'll add a bit of the shoulders and upper body, but I mess that up usually. But it just makes me feel good about my drawings when I do these guys. I don't know. I just like looking at them once I've drawn it, and I think that's all I can really ask for as an artist, is that after drawing something, I enjoy looking at my own stuff, which is kind of weird because, you know, it's with your own art, it kind of becomes a thing where you like it at first, you know, and then as you progress, or just as your artistic preferences change, you know, you can go back in the future and look and just hate what you've done, and that's a terrible feeling. You know, because you rarely think like, oh, that's really good, but my style preferences have changed. You always seem to think, what is this garbage that I did back then? How could I possibly have thought this was good? You know, which, I don't know, kind of a horrible feeling. I was actually at my mom's house recently, and yesterday. By recently, I mean yesterday. I saw one of my old pictures hanging that I had done in art class in, I don't know, probably maybe sophomore year of high school, you know, which at that age, 15 or 16, whatever it is, you know, a lot of good artists are actually already quite good at that age. They're not incredibly knowledgeable about a lot of things yet, but their abilities are already pretty good, and they can draw cool stuff. But I couldn't. It was painful just to look at this drawing I did of I think it was a crane standing in water with the reflection. With some bamboo behind him, and oh, it was just so ugly, just so bad, so incomplete looking, you know, like not much going on, but it still took up the whole paper. You know, she's got it hanging there. And in my mind, I'm thinking, like, we can't have this hanging here. What if someone sees that and thinks, like, that's a good representation of my art? You know, and she thinks it's good. You know, as someone who doesn't really do art, you know, she sees it and thinks it's good, and that's fine. But, you know, as someone who's been drawing for so long now, and I've studied this and that, and I only see the flaws. it's just, oof, no, it's bad. It was a bad drawing. And I was so bad back then. I was super impatient. Just couldn't draw anything well at all. Alright, I think it's time I stopped doing this guy. I didn't even mean to do it for this long, and then I distracted myself. But it looks kind of cool. It's nice and crooked. Good stuff. I think warm-up sketches, of course, are supposed to be a little more loose and fun. You know, where you're just kind of goofing off. I'm really bad at that. I have this habit, like if I start drawing, like right now I'm drawing this, and I've hated it since I started it. And I've wanted to quit and start something else, you know, but the point is just to kind of sketch around and loosen up and not have a perfect picture, you know. But when I see like other good artists do their warm-up sketches, I think like, oh, it's already amazing. Like I would already buy that if I saw that print, you know, or if they had their sketchbook for sale. Like I would be like, oh, that's so cool, you know. I mean, I don't practice very often these days, especially like right now, drawing this male character's back. I don't draw male character backs ever. I don't draw any of the things that are going into this. Hardly studied it at all. But I'm just trying to loosen up and be able to just kind of play around with it instead of just quitting because it's uncomfortable. Here we go. I'll really ruin it. Make it really extra special here. Give him a ponytail. For some strange reason, this is another like Wolverine-esque character with the ear thingies. I'll try to keep this one much shorter so you don't lose interest as quickly. I don't know, if I was ever in like a... I've never taken a figure drawing class. And I was looking into it, and there's a few in Denver, but I don't know. I just have such a hefty fear of failure, you know, that I feel like I wouldn't enjoy it because I'd just be stressing, like, is my drawing going to be the best in the class? Is it going to be the worst in the class, which is more likely? It doesn't, you know, and I don't feel even remotely the need to be the best. I just want to be, I don't know, I think I just want to be like respected amongst artists that I respect. That's like my goal. Like I don't think You know, because there's so many different artists. Like, I recently bought the book of, what's it called? Momentary by Ilya Kushinov. I think that's it. I don't know how they rush in all this V action here, but he's one of my favorite artists, and my favorite drawings of his are just so simple, and I think, like, well, there's definitely, you could argue that there's much better drawings in terms of, I don't know, whatever people think makes a better drawing, but you know, I just love it, love looking at it. And then there's other artists who are completely different. I think they're just as good, but they're so different that, you know, you can't even compare them. You can't say one is better than the other. You know, I mean, obviously people always say art is subjective, but like, you can see a drawing that you can tell is like a beginner's work and they're not very good. Whoops. You know, just because you can pick out things that, you know, you can tell are just kind of amateurish. Oh dear, I don't know what I was saying. I don't know why I started telling you about that. Interesting. Oh, figure drawing class. I just want to be respected, you know. I want the teacher to be like, actually, I don't really care what the teacher thinks. I lost all respect for our teachers because I've only had a few. Some of them were really good in the sense that they were just endlessly positive, but then, you know, you're not progressing that much. And then others have been endlessly negative, and then you're not progressing either because they're just trying to force what they think onto your drawings. But you know, if other good artists that I think are really good and I enjoy looking at their stuff, you know, if they were to, you know, follow me even on Instagram or DeviantArt, you know, especially Patreon, I see some of these amazing artists on Patreon and I look at the artists they're following and I just think that'd be so cool to be respected by them so much. I don't know how to make shoes. What am I doing? I think this shoe ruins the whole drawing, to be honest. I don't have enough time to really go through all my, like, when people favorite my pictures or watch me on DeviantArt, but on occasion I'll kind of thumb through and see if I recognize any of the names as someone I already follow. It's happened once, actually. They probably just didn't know what they were doing. I accidentally hit the watch button. But I don't know, that's my goal. You know, if I could like go to I think I've said this before in a previous video, if I could go to a convention as like a featured artist and have other artists that I respect there, and we're all kind of like mutually artisting around, you know, that kind of classic like, you're so good, I'm so bad. No, you're so good, I'm so bad. That stuff seems to happen a lot in the artist world. There's plenty of humility. Not with everyone, of course. You know, I just realized I've never really drawn shoes. I know I could draw a shoe if I stop and take the time, but I don't wanna, you know, especially doing like a warm-up sketch. I'd much rather I don't know, there's like a trick to everything, and you learn the trick and then you can draw it real quick when you don't want to really slow down and take the time. And I feel like I mean, this is what I do for quick shoe drawings, and then they look like this, and I can't stand it. You know, I have decent shapes going on up here where even though it's kind of sketchy and unprofessional, and clearly I'm not that great, but the shapes are okay. Whereas with these shoes, it's just, I don't even know what's happening. I was just too scared to attempt to draw feet in a video where you guys would watch it happen, or watch it attempt to happen and then fail. And I don't know why I feel so bad about failing, because I'm more than ready to downplay myself any chance I get. You know, so it's not like I'm going around trying to convince people that I'm so great, and then if I'm not, I'll fail, and they'll be like, oh my gosh, you're not as great as you said. I don't care about that. I'm like obsessed with saying that I'm bad at everything at the same time as trying to be the best at everything. Maybe it's just defense. If I tell people I'm bad at everything, then I can only be better than what they're expecting. There you go. There's some Adidas Audi kicks. I don't remember what the toe goes. They're Taekwondo shoes. And they look terrible, of course. I mean, I stopped caring as soon as I went to shade this part. I don't have the patience for that right now. You know? But that's the problem, is when I don't have the patience for taking the time, I just can't draw it, you know? Like, I drew this guy pretty quick because I felt I could quickly get all this in without, you know, like slowly kind of blocking in. What's his rib cage doing? There's his neck hole and armholes. And really thinking about it, because then I just lose patience. And that's been my problem forever, my entire artistic life from birth. That's right, from birth. Because I just don't have patience. You know, when the other day I did a landscape drawing. I'll actually show you right now. I just tried to do a quick landscape painting because I don't do them ever. And you know, oh man, I got to this point and I couldn't even believe I was patient enough to get here, and then I had to quit because you know, I'm not very good at it. I don't know how to suggest much in digital paintings. And so I know, like, at this point, hopefully you can even see what I'm talking about. I don't know if it picks up a new thing if I open it. At this point, I know that all I can do is kind of zoom in again and do finer and finer details, and then spend 100,000 hours just drawing all the details of the rock, and you know, I don't want to do that. And there's artists who do such quick digital paintings with like almost no details, very shapy, and it just looks amazing. You know, they capture the depth and the shapes and the space, but you can tell what everything is, and it looks fine. It looks great. I don't know how to do that. And I lose patience trying to do digital landscapes, so I don't do them. Alright, I'll do one more. This is probably a long one. Oh, jeez, this is terrifying. I want to draw something better. My phone's going crazy right now. You know, it's funny, I'll kind of like use, you know, a manga or something that I think has a really good style of art. And I'll look at it and maybe I'll even just kind of copy a piece, or just a face or something, and just try to think about how they do it and what's different between what I do, and then try to do it again from memory. And it seems to work for like a few weeks, and then I don't know what happens, but I lose it. And I look back and I think like, oh man, that original one I did when I was just cheating looks so much better. You know, now I can't even do that anymore. And then so I was thinking just now, doing this shape of the face, and how my desire is to make it look a certain way, but then my tendencies just draw me to always do it a different way than that one day that I copied that one drawing of whoever's. And I'm actually terrified to even continue this right now in the recording, just because I've been doing so poorly lately at drawing eyes and the head, the top of the head, and putting hair on. I'm just so wildly uncreative lately, even more so than usual. I think that head shape will do. It's not bad, I suppose. I have to do a new layer. Every time I'm doing this, like, anime manga style, I just get too scared, and I have to do a new layer before I start the hair and the eyes, just so I can, you know, draw it out however I feel like doing. And then when I fail, not if I fail, but when I fail, I can freely just, oh goodness. Change it, erase it, do whatever I need to do without just hitting undo a bunch until I hopefully get back far enough before I ruined it. Now I've lately been having trouble getting the top of the head as far as the hair goes too. Like, you know, you can kind of come down here like this and get a little strand that comes out, and maybe up here you have a little strand like that. You know, that sort of thing. See, I can't even handle this right now. This looks so bad. Oh dear. And it's interesting, like I feel like I never used to really rely on any sort of guideline type things, and I feel like now I've almost regressed back so far in my abilities that I have to have them. Like I have to draw the hairline to make sure I see like what I'm doing and where does it start from. And I've become that was weird. Become increasingly I don't know, timid about hair. Like I won't do anything with the hair that gravity wouldn't do with the hair. Which is so silly, especially in this style of art, to even worry about anything real or scientific. It's just goofy to even think about. You know, like why, if you're worried about realistic aspects of something, like why draw in a cartoony style? That certainly doesn't make sense. It's very contradictory. I think, I don't know, sometimes I want to do more of a American comic style, because I feel like some of it, or a lot of it, is more based in reality, and just more of just a simplified version of reality as far as like certain aspects go, and then just taking, you know, muscles and just kind of exaggerating muscles. But it just seems more of a formula for creativity involving that style instead of, you know, this style of art. I can't figure out how they make certain decisions. What's this? You know, this looks okay to me right now. And then I think of trying to add the eyes. You know, I have yet to figure out kind of a trick for the eyes. Even when I do this, which is supposed to be what you do, you know, you throw in your center line, and then of course, since it's anime style, the actual proportions of ear to brow to nose can be very askew, but I try to start with them before I throw them out the window. Like I'll kind of use them at first and then, you go in and you'll draw an eye, and then you just get the lasso tool and you cheat because you have a digital medium here. But it's dangerous. When I've been trying to draw traditionally lately, and I'll find I'm like reaching with my physical pencil over to grab the eraser tool, or I'm reaching with my left hand to press the undo button. And that's kind of silly. I think that's silly. I'm hoping my struggles of late have been, in the psycho mindset would be like my eye has just gotten much better than my hand, and now my hand's just trying to catch up because that would make me feel better. But I just have a feeling that's not the case lately. I think I'm just too conflicted about how I want to do things, and I'm too obsessed with doing things the way that other people do them. Which I'm not just trying to copy people, it's like I'm trying to find certain aspects of their art that I like, that I'd be able to kind of blend into my own style. But I don't know, it's just been really hard. When I'm trying to draw a final piece to put up, and I'm spending hours just trying to get the sketch right these days. Which is fine, if you're doing like a sweet master sketch of super detailed drawing. It just takes time, but I'm like drawing and drawing and drawing, and then having to redraw. And then after a while, I think like, yeah, I got it. And then I'll go back in and remember like, oh no, I haven't flipped it in a while. And then I'll just see all these problems pop up. And then I'll get frustrated and give up. Like lately I've been struggling a lot with this here, getting the eyes looking over towards you, but having them be like the same size and having it look like they're just looking towards you. And of course, part of the problem with, at least the way I do like anime art, is I noticed a lot of times you'll kind of have to play with the placement of the pupil a little bit. Where obviously an eye, you have your eye, and then the pupil is in the center no matter what, and then this whole thing moves left or right, or up or down, and that's what looks at you. But I found, and I'm probably just doing it wrong, and that's why I have to do this, but I'll draw an eye, and she'll be looking around. I'll have her eye like this, and when I put the pupil kind of where it's supposed to be, it almost looks like they're still looking out what would be straight. So I'll kind of have to move it to the left, or whatever side. you know, to get it, which kind of makes it just look like the whole iris is more hidden under this part of the eye, but that's not what the case was supposed to be. It's supposed to be the whole iris is visible on the one eye because it's looking at you at just the right angle, that there's the white over here. This is all white because this eye is almost facing straight at you. You can see the full circle. Here's the white. And the eyelid, fold. And then this eyelash becomes this eyebrow. Look at that. But I found when doing anime art, I struggle way too much with all of these things that I should be good at by now. You know, especially when like I'm trying to have a Patreon and get commissions and everything, and then I'm here just struggling with the basics so often. But I think my problem is I can't just focus on one style of anything. I can't stick with it and think like, here, that's my style, I'm good, I'll work on that for a while. I have to like constantly look at other drawings and think, oh, well, is that style better than mine? Should I be trying to do something more like that so that I have better drawings? You know, and part of me says yes. That person is more successful than you, their drawings are way better to look at than yours, and therefore, see, what is with this angle? Alright, look at this eye right here. Here's a good problem you'll see me try to solve. This eye is way too tucked in for the angle of the rest of the face. But every time I try to move it out, usually it always ends up looking just more and more wonky. See, it just looks weird now. And I'm pissed. I can't even handle this. You know, spending all that time just now to get to that point and have such horrible results because I can't draw eyes after years and years and years of doing it. You know, that's why I end up having to cheat so much as far as like digital trickery goes. And I'll just sketch them in real quick, and even if I don't like them, oops, I'll just do that, and heck, this already looks better. That's so funny. So then I'll kind of take this, rotate it a bit, maybe move it this way a bit. And honestly, it's really unfortunate, but sometimes, like, you know, I'll spend so much time just doing this, just flipping it and look at the eyes and figuring out what's wrong with the eyes, and finally I realized that the face structure, like the structure of the face, like the edge here, should do it on the original layer. So I realize that this part isn't working out as far as the eyes are concerned, and it's part of my inability to draw the eyes at the proper angle as far as the face goes. Which interestingly is really only a problem when I draw the facial structure first. Then I have a hard time placing the eyes these days. But if I draw the eyes first, it's much easier for me to just see what sort of face, cheekbone, and all that good stuff should be kind of surrounding it. It's a lot easier to do than, but I don't like starting with the eyes. Because I worry about, getting the rest of it right. I want to have better neck and shoulder and everything going on, so I want to make sure I get the head shape right how I want it to match the angle of the drawing that I want to do. What layer is that on? But I might just have to get over it and be the guy who starts with the eyes every time. But there you are. I'll stop with that. That's good enough. If I keep going, I'll probably just embarrass myself more. Thank you for watching. Hopefully, I got nothing.